Welcome to GPH Podcast, where we dive deep into the topics of our everyday lives. I am your host, Manny. Others know me as JR, and for my social media followers, J_addict. Today, I'm here bringing you a fresh perspective on entrepreneurship. I'll be sparking a conversation that is going to inspire and challenge you to think differently. Stay tuned as I guide you through today's fascinating discussion and explore ideas that matter most. Since you're here for a reason and not for a season, please click below and subscribe as we get started. And today's topic is wealth as a system, not an amount of money. And the way I want to shed light on it first is even before this election, we all know that the economy and our government are something we don't want to depend on. At least I feel like that, right? Economical change, tariffs, and tax cuts are the forefront of these political parties' agendas. But I'm not getting into politics today, right? We're going to talk about wealth. True wealth isn't just about the dollars in your bank account. It's a system that involves structures, strategies, and legal frameworks. And today we have the privilege to have with us an entrepreneur who has 20 plus years of experience in various business fields. From literally being raised in a family-owned business as an infant to taking risk of starting his own cell phone business at 14 years old. Also, and not limited to, taking on real estate ventures to owning businesses overseas. I mean, the list can go on and on. Mr. Pound for Pound, the king of common sense, the idiot with a plan, as he likes to address himself. But as I asked him earlier this week, he now just identifies as a servant to individuals who are striving to become a better version of themselves, a leader creating leaders. It's my pleasure to introduce businessman Carlos.
Bro, I love the introduction. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you for being here, man.
Appreciate it, brother. I hope that we could bring light where there's darkness. We could bring awareness. You got me? Because if there's one thing, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. That's why I question everything. Why this? Why that? I gotta question everything, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm serious. I question, why am I here? Why you chose me for this topic?
Because as people know, right, that, or you know, better said, I've been studying you guys for a little while. CMR Podcast, J Andy with Day One Podcast, and everyone else that have their podcast. Sam with Capital Gains, Mars Brick by Brick, Lucy Sombra with Vanessa, Ant's Life with Emily. Like, I've been studying. And on CMR Podcast, bro, you give a lot of knowledge. And the knowledge that you give on, I'm going to start with that today, is why wealth is a mindset, right? And why people have to shift that mindset. And wealth is about structures that protect and grow resources, right? And I want you to tell people what mindset they have to have in order to be able to do that.
What mindset they gotta have in order to do what exactly?
In order to have wealth, right? To create wealth, excuse me, because wealth is about structures that protect and grow resources. So
Okay.
what mindset you got to have in order to understand, well, to get to being wealthy, I have to get resources and I have to know how to protect them. So I want your insight on that today.
Okay, first of all, to me, wealth, believe it or not, is health.
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as, for me, in my case, right? Because what's the point of having money and not having your health? Notice, when a man has his health, he has all the worries of the world. But when a man loses his health, he has only one thing in his mind, his health, right?
Mm-hmm.
So health is wealth. But obviously, we live in a world where money is a tool, right? And it's a tool that is needed, right? So people think they need financial security, what they call financial freedom, right? They want to be able to have money to be able to buy things, you got me? To be able to do things, right? But from my perspective, unless you understand how money works, you will never be able to attract the money. Notice how I said attract, not chase, because I feel like everybody has money. It's not that people don't have money. It's what you do with the money you get. Because I could literally right now, with no money, start any business. With no money, I could buy anything I want to buy.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, money, believe it or not, it's a byproduct of value creation. You could create $1 million idea. Just the same way you could create a $10 million idea. $100 million idea, $1 billion idea. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not a billionaire, but I'm gonna tell you straight up, and I'll tell the world this, right? You first become a billionaire or a millionaire or multimillionaire in the mind, right? I don't like talking about money because at the end of the day, I never did it for the money, but I became a millionaire when I was 17, bro. You got me? Because I focused on creating value for others.
Okay.
I was not focused on getting money. Most people, they hear, oh, I'm here getting money. Bro, getting money is not hustling. When I say hustling, working hard, you got me, chasing it, you got me?
Now, you say at 17 you was a millionaire, right?
Yes.
And that says a lot because people, I at 17,
Money-wise, you got me?
I understand. What I'm saying is me at 17, and we're close to the same age. Bro, I was finishing high school and I was working at Dunkin' Donuts. You feel me?
In high school.
But one of the topics that we're going to talk about today, and sorry to cut you off, are LLCs, right? We're going to talk about LLCs, holding companies, trust accounts, because there's a structure to wealth, right? You have John D. Rockefeller over here. This guy's a genius. He was one of the people that started wealth structures. So can you tell the people what type of businesses or LLCs allowed you to even get to that success?
But you see, good thing that you're bringing that up. It's not the type of businesses or LLCs that get you to become successful.
Okay.
It's the ideas that the problems I was solving. It's not the company.
Well, that's right. Because the other day when you were on
Good thing you're bringing that up.
Yes. When you was on Vanessa's podcast, you were talking on CMR. You guys were talking about how she's gonna start a book.
Okay.
Right. And that's the thing. That's not a LLC. Even though you're structured through a company, it's a book. It's an idea. It's a story.
But I converted into a company.
You know what you're converting it into? Income producing asset.
Yes.
Right. So
that's how we create wealth.
Exactly.
And asset a day keeps the 9 to 5 away.
That's the foundation. And that's kind of like how I want to direct the question, like for you and your experience, because how you say it's ideas, bro. And sometimes people come with ideas.
That's why we did an episode, me and Sam, shout out to Sam, Capital Games.
Yes.
Right? Cast, where we did an episode where we spoke about printing money legally.
Yes.
Right? We can close the distance between an idea and money. That's what makes us successful. But an idea without execution is just a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So unless we execute on those ideas and create value around it, solve a problem, right? Find a solution to those problems, they'll just be a mere idea just sitting down. See, I'm good basically taking action. I'm just a person that whatever I have in my mind, I'll convert it into a business right away.
Okay.
Like, I'm not talking about now, yesterday. Right away, hey, legalize this. You got me? Patent this, trademark this. You got me?
Yes.
So that's the way I move, if it makes sense.
With Sam, you guys should check out his podcast. He just did one with Jay Andy about purchasing a home, real estate. And real estate is one of the topics that I wanted to cover with you, because many wealthy people talk about how real estate is something that's always relevant. Real estate is gonna withstand whatever economical a recession we go through, or if it's an influx, whatever the case may be. So what has your experience been with real estate?
Simple. Don't wait to buy real estate.
Why not?
Buy real estate and wait.
Oof. Why? Can you explain that? Can you
First
tell
of
the
all,
audience a little bit?
the best way, see, I don't save money. And I tell the world this. You got me?
That's cash accumulation. There's a difference between cash flow and cash accumulation. Sorry to cut you off, but go ahead. You don't save money.
You know, it doesn't mean I don't have savings though. You got me? You got me? But I'm not a fan of saving money because inflation eats the money alive. I'm a fan of parking money in bricks. Shout out to Mars, brick by brick.
Yes, sir.
Where if you buy a property, right, it's an asset, right? It's an asset when you have tenants and you become the landlord, right? When somebody else is paying for that asset, right? So real estate is the best way to basically park your money in bricks, brick by brick.
Yes.
Right? And inflation, obviously real estate, tends to appreciate in value. goes up in price,
Yeah.
right? So I'll give you a perspective. I've never understood a man or a woman that doesn't leverage even the government. For example, the FHA loan to
Absolutely.
buy the first home, 3.5% down payment, right? $300,000 home is $10,000, 500. Let's say 15,000. You don't got a friend that can lend you 15,000. I'm that friend. If you know people, hey, let's do this. You got me? I'm an investor.
Or how you say, like, the government gives grants.
And
People
there's
don't
grants.
understand that, like.
Yeah. Put it like that. Just to open a business, we get $5,000 grant.
Now,
just we get $5,000.
Absolutely. Look, and to pivot off of that, like, I know you can turn purchasing a home into an asset, but I've heard you say before, like, sometimes that's not the asset you need to create cash flow. You could create any type of business, turn an idea into a business, and then you have even more cash flow from that.
But you see, that's why I love business.
Yes.
And that's why I tell people, you will never be free. You can want the dream home, dream car, but everything starts with the dream business. But everything affects everything. If you don't have your dream body, if you're not here working out every single day, taking care of your physical pillar, I'm going to touch the 5 pillars.
Back to the mindset.
You see?
Yes.
Everything lies in the 5 pillars. The mind, la mente, right? Everything starts, obviously, spiritualmente, spiritually, your connection with God, your connection with yourself. Why connection with God? From where ideas come from? From God.
From
infinite intelligence. It's the 6th sense, right?
Napoleon Hill.
People perish because of lack of vision. Proverbs 29:18. Bible says it. So if you know people perish because of lack of vision, because people walk by what they see, not by faith, you got to understand you need a strong connection with the Creator.
Yes.
You got to listen to that inner voice, right? What separates the best from the rest is mindset. Why are people not working on their mindset? What separates us from animals is our mind. Why are people not working on their mind? When your mind is right, remember the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. When your mind is right, you're going to be able to also OQP, practice OQP, only quality people. Because then you understand that if I take care of my mind, my garden, right? Because the best real estate, straight up, is the mind, right?
That's powerful.
Right?
Yes.
But if I see people that do not take care of the mind, that's why I ask people, how you doing today? I'm expecting people to be telling me, hey, I'm doing excellent. Excelentemente.
Yes.
Mente, the mind. Why? I don't want people, oh, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm this. I'm that. That energy, I'm all about energy. Wealth is energy. Money's energy.
They say poverty is a mind state.
Of course.
Just so in the same way,
scarcity, abundance. You get me? There's people that say, I can't afford it. And then there's people like me, now like you, how can I afford it? Rich dad, poor dad.
Yes.
Why people are saying I can't? He or she that says I can't is usually right. He or she that says I can't, he's also, or she, or they're also right.
Yes.
You got me?
A man will become his thoughts. It comes to fruition.
Whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. I'm a strong believer in that. Right? That's why if I say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. I believe in myself, not 100%. I believe in myself 1,000,000,000,000%. You got me? I'm backed by the Creator because we're also made in His image. We're creators ourselves.
Yes.
Notice that with your mind, you could attract things, but also with your mind, you could scare away things.
Yeah.
So when you start working on your mindset, you're going to be able to scare away what you don't want, because you need to be able to do that too.
I think people have to understand that. For example, right? You're an investor, but I got a question for the audience, right? You think if I give you, or Carlos gives you $1 million, you know what to do with it? You think that you're going to be able to take that money and turn it into at least 500,000, 250,000 return, whatever, right? A 25% return on $1 million. But the problem is the first thing people do is spend the money. Why? Because they didn't practice the mindset, how you're talking. Because once you start with the mindset, then once you start creating this structure, because wealth is a structure, right? It's a funnel. It starts with LLCs. It goes to holding companies. Then you have trust accounts, right? And so to go to the next segment, after you establish these LLCs, then you have a holding companies. And what that does is it protects you. It collects the money and protects you. Because what you don't want is liability. Now you have these companies, anything can happen.
Let me give a free game when it comes to real estate.
Talk about it.
Acquisition. That's the
Okay.
first company. That's the company basically that you're gonna start off, obviously, to get the funding, if it makes sense. Then you're gonna have a holdings company that's gonna hold the asset. That's just to hold the asset, because the debt you want to keep it in another company, if it makes sense. Because remember, you're using that money from that first company to buy the asset, right? So you got to transfer from one to another, right?
Yes.
I'm giving
Free
billion-dollar games.
If I need to rewind,
right? To
this
be
is
able
what
to
we
print
talking
money,
about. Yes.
right? The last thing, a management company, because you want to have everything separate, just in case you get sued. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You don't want to basically, you want to keep everything.
Most real estate gurus say when you buy a property is similar to you have the management company, right? Then you have the one that actually holds the property, and then you have the one where you get paid to. Like, you feel me, where the money goes to.
Acquisition,
Because,
holdings, management.
this guy, he's focused. And apart from real estate, what other businesses have you had the experience where you set that structure up also?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, in the world, it's not about the structure.
Why not?
Bro, that is not the structure. Because at the end of the day, put it like this. I'm gonna put it in perspective. I could give you all the structures, all the legal structures in the world, and you could structure everything correctly. But if you don't know how to handle, for example, don't know how to deal with people, because real estate, okay, you buy the property. But now, look at it like this. Let's say you buy a multifamily.
Okay.
You got to know who to rent to. Not all tenants are good tenants.
Yes.
Right? So let's say you don't know how to deal with people. You don't know how to vet the tenants. People are going to be calling you, oh, my toilet. Oh, the sink is messed up. Or that's messed up. You got me? So this is where you got to have, a whole overall vision, a whole plan, a whole map, how you want to basically structure everything after. The legal stuff is to me, is petty. It's the little things, if it makes sense. The legal stuff is not what makes my, knowledge.
Well, it's the mindset, how you say.
The legal is not even the foundation of the stuff.
I think, though, in order to make sure, because it says in the word, a wise man creates wealth for his kids and his kids' kids.
Yes.
You get me? And I think a lot of people, okay, so we have people that can produce money, right? And then they don't know how to hold it. You get what I'm saying? There's people that, forget those people. We're not going to talk about the people that don't even take the step, because how you say, like, if you have a plan, you start it yesterday, so you don't waste any time. But I think for the emphasis of the episode, it's about wealth. It's about the long run, delayed gratification, like you always like to say, not instant satisfaction. We don't want that. So people chase like oh, I want to make 100K, and to me that's like small minded. You get me? Where me, I don't chase a number. Excuse me, I don't even chase anything. I'm attracting wealth.
But you got to target a number.
Well, my target, I don't like that idea. Why would you say target a number?
Of course, you see, I respect your perspective.
Yes,
but I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Que abre la experiencia.
Right? No, because at the end of the day, people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Right. My thing, you say I have 20 years of something of experience.
From when you said
I have
14,
more than 20 years.
I know.
But let me explain. I was raised in a furniture store.
Okay.
Since I was 2 years old. You get me? I was raised in a business environment. So my subconscious, I was programmed for already. Your subconscious, from the day you were born to like year 7 or 8, what you see, what you hear, right? Who you surround yourself with, that's what you become. Believe it or not, there's decisions you're still making because of things you learned before you were 8 years old. Programmed subconsciously. See, same way we breathe, you don't think about that, right? So our brains already programmed, you got me, by default, automatically to something, you already, boom, right?
Yes.
Like, for example, let's use my uncle. My uncle, he was always in unification, 4 levels of value creation, right?
Absolutely.
My father was in implementation. My uncle was the one that used to tell my father what to do and all his workers. But I used to question why my father's older than my uncle, right? By like 2 years old, right? who doesn't want your father in a position of power?
Everybody should
Right?
want it. Everybody,
Right?
yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, he's my father, and my father is here letting his brother tell him what to do. But then I used to see my father. He was the laziest one there. He had a worker mentality. He had to be told what to do. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
My uncle used to take the risk, and he was the one telling people what to do. He knew how to deal with people. I always ask why my uncle used to call everybody, primo. See the Dominicans? Yo, I never saw my uncle pissed off because I understood something from my uncle. Strangers make you rich. It doesn't matter if the customer comes pissed off. My uncle had the ability to switch the customer's state of mind from pissed off to happy.
Yeah, because they look for the problem and they find a solution.
Yes, because my father, to give you perspective, even though my uncle had a lot of workers, he still had a lot of workers, but using just them two as an example. Two brothers with two different perspectives of how they see life, right? My father, he wants a schedule in exchange for money. He wanted security, but his brother wanted the unknown. He didn't want a schedule. He wanted to take the risk. Well, I've learned at a very young age that people in the right side of the quadrant, in the unknown, literally get more rewarded, right, than the people in the left side of the quadrant in security, as an employee or as a self-employed. Business owner investors that take the highest risk, right, we get more rewarded.
Absolutely. You have the wealth mindset when you're on the right side of the quadrant.
We got to delay gratification.
Yes.
If it makes sense.
Yes.
Right?
You're not worried about
We're the last
right
one
now.
that get paid. Leaders eat last. Right?
Talk about it.
We eat last. But when we eat, mark my word, we eat a lot.
And so now I want to touch up a little bit on trust accounts and infinite banking. So I have a friend and he works for New York Life. Shout out John. And I called him earlier this week so I could prepare for the topic. And now it kind of makes sense because it clicked something that he told me earlier. You said aim for a target. And I told him like, yo, cuz, how about trust accounts? And he's like, bro, for what you're talking about, people need like at least $11 million. Something like in that range. He said something, right? And I know you're a father, right? And most of the audience and people like
3 daughters.
My age, right? We have families.
You have
and
kids?
No, I don't have kids yet. God hasn't blessed me yet with my kids. They coming though. But I do have family that I have cousins, bro, that are young, that I look like they're my kids. Like I'm the oldest of 8 grandchildren, And what I'm thinking about is the future for them. Literally, like I don't do it for myself. I do it for the people I love. And with trust accounts, it's like you setting up something for them in the future and something that they can't mess up. You get me? And John D. Rockefeller was the one that, through trust accounts, created a concept called infinite banking where they borrow money from the trust. It's like
and life insurance, you learn.
Exactly. Whole life. And my friend John, like, since he knows about it, I think he's been in that field for like 10 years. He deals with all kinds of people. And when I started speaking to him about the topic and he gave me this knowledge, I'm like, wow. And my question to you is, being a father of 3, like, what is your insight on that? Like, how would you go about that?
Okay, first of all, the first thing that I did with my first daughter is I calculated how much my daughter was going to cost me till she's 18, right?
I have a number for you.
But that's why you see everything goes in numbers.
Yes, statistics say by the time, even before they're 18, you waste more than $500,000 on children.
But at that time, it was like less than 300 grand.
Okay.
If it makes sense. So the way I think, I say, okay, from the minute she's born to she's 18, how much money would I be,
spending? Investing. I like that word better.
Investing.
I like that word better.
In her, right? I said, okay, I'm going to borrow that money, right?
Okay.
I'm going to buy an asset, right? And that asset is going to pay, I'm going to leverage the asset, right? I'm going to have, obviously, other people pay for it. In this case, it's property, real estate.
Okay.
Right? And then, obviously, that asset is going to be cash flowing. Then with that cash flow, I'll be able to, support her, right? But also, that asset is like savings. So when she's 18, she has already,
real quick, before he keeps going, for those who are watching this and our parents, this is free game. And for people like me that in the future want to have children, this is free game. Continue.
So I'm gonna put it in perspective. Let's say $1 million property,
Yes.
20% down.
Okay.
You right? That's $200,000. So you
200K.
need, when you have a kid, do this, right? Make yourself a company, right? Right? An acquisition company, right? That company now, you're gonna basically borrow at least $200,000, right? From, let's say 250, let's say 200, right?
Okay, ballpark.
Right? That 200, now you're gonna buy $1 million property. You're gonna leverage it. So you're borrowing to invest.
Always.
I don't know if it makes sense.
And the profits that you get from it, what you do with it?
The profit?
The profits, what you do?
I reinvest, bro.
Talk about it.
Because
I knew
at the
that's
end
what
of
you
the
was
day,
gonna say.
the way I look at money, it's only a tool.
Absolutely.
And this is why my daughters, straight up, I don't want to leave them money. I want to leave them assets. You got me? Properties. But the best investment I ever made has been on myself. So I want to lead by example, right? So the best investment that I want them to do is on themselves. My daughters, I'm only teach them 3 things. And then I'm going to leave them all the books that I've read.
Okay.
That's what I want to give. I don't want to give them money. Because look at it like this. Let's say I give them money, even though they're excited. Okay, imagine having money without financial literacy.
That's the problem with people.
That's why people fall under drugs, alcohol. You get me? Because when you have it all, what's your purpose? God sent my daughters with a purpose as well.
Amen.
I don't know their purpose, but they have a purpose as well. It doesn't matter if a good father says his kids, you know, an inheritance of fortune. If God will, you know, doesn't want that for them,
yeah,
makes sense or no?
Absolutely. And
I want them to have the right mindset to be able to hold the wealth.
Because if you don't give them that, once you give them the wealth and these like income producing assets, bro, they could lose it.
Bro, life is boring.
You get what I'm saying?
Bro, if all you're getting is money and just literally like you think just partying or doing this, doing that, life is gonna get stagnated, boring. Bro, I see myself, you know, travel all over, right? Being different resort, and I get bored 2-3 days. I want to be out of here.
But what does interest you?
Straight up, helping people. That fulfills me. And helping people accomplish their dream. You know it's so fulfilling when you see a brother or sister get their dream home, or at least buy the first home, or get their dream car. You got me?
Yes.
But everything starts with the dream business, because you will never be free unless you become a business owner. Why I always say free on time. Who the heck wants another man, another woman telling you what to do? Where there's a will, there's a way. If you don't find the way how to build your dreams, somebody else is going to hire you to work on theirs.
That's a
fact. I don't have nothing against people being employed, but the word employed, the modern word for slavery. Like, I want to see brothers and sisters free.
Yeah.
I want brothers and sisters to be living their best life, you know,
and it's all about
on purpose.
Yes, and it's all about for those people that are employees to transition, get the knowledge first, you know, and start transitioning. And everyone has loved ones.
I would even say get the knowledge straight up.
I mean, I would
take
say
action.
Yeah, because and taking the action.
How you think I started business?
First.
That's why the legal structure. Us talking about LLC, limited liability company. In my terms, loans and lines of credits.
Talk about it.
But I'm not gonna sit here to talk about companies, because anywhere in the world I could go from scratch with no money. I'm gonna become a millionaire, multi-millionaire from scratch. Bro, if you need money to make money, that means you don't know how to get money.
You have the wrong mindset.
I'm straight up, you don't need money. And you ask me these questions, like I'm literally
and it's funny because I was talking to Jay Andy the whole week. I'm like, yo, bro, I want him to give some game. And bro, you have dropped some knowledge right now. You have dropped some gems. I hope everybody can like play back and see exactly, like it's not word for word. Somebody's gonna tell you, yo, go do this, go do that. No, they have to get up and do it themselves. How you say, take the risk. But he just gave you some structure.
Willing to share my blessings with others.
Yeah.
Step number 7 of the 12 steps of riches is think and grow rich, not work and grow rich.
Yes.
Right? The last step is financial security, money. But what do you think people put first? Money.
And they have it backwards. They're starting from the end.
You got to start with the attitude.
So to close off, I wrote this. two Jewish people will sit, right? And they'll speak about Israel, right? Two Italians will sit and they'll talk about Italy's politics. But two men striving for wealth, they will sit down and they will talk about mindsets. They will talk about structure. They will talk about the 5 pillars. You get what I'm saying? And thank you so much, Carlos, for
Thank you for
coming on to
inviting me
the
too.
podcast. Please tell the audience where they could find you.
CMR Podcast Network, if you want to basically look into, the content that I personally create with my team, because at the end of the day, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. As a man that has been in business all my life, I always understood one thing. I couldn't do it all by myself. Without God, without a team behind me, teamwork makes the dream work. Together, everyone achieves more. I wouldn't be able to do it, if it makes sense. I always been in a position of leadership, of not just regular leader creating leaders that are supposed to be creating leaders, right? Today I said here helping other people accomplish their dream. But businessman Carlos on IG.
Thank you, Carlos, and to my audience, thank you for tuning in. Please follow me, GPH Podcast, Instagram, on all the platforms, and stay locked in for the next episode where we drop more gems and more jewels and blessings. Until next time.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you, Jan.